Hey everybody, here is the Codex part of the GMG review of the new CADIA Stands box set available from Games Workshop. That includes the limited edition, although dinged up in the box, I hope there's not a lot of these in there, copy of the Codex Astra Militarum, the Imperial Guard from Games Workshop. And this was kindly sent to me as a complimentary review copy. So, what do we got here? Well, we got Robo Horse and Friends. This is the special cover edition of this 40K book. Of course, the interior is going to be the same in the general release. And it is a 152-page guard book that, I'll be honest, I'm kind of excited about for a very specific reason. It's got less stuff in it. That sounds weird, but this book has, well, there's new units, there's brand new models, tons of new models. There's just less like mix and matchy rule stuff. I just can't. I'm too tired of it. There's too much to 40K when it comes to stratagems and, you know, regiment rules and faction rules, and this stratagem belongs to this faction and that thing, this kata's you gotta dance on this turn kind of stuff. It's just too much. I have no idea what's going on in most of the armies across from me in games of 40K these days, and yeah, and I'm excited that while there's still like plenty of stuff in here, there's how many? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, plus, I don't know, another, let's say 15, 16, there's like 50 something data slates in here. It's all kind of stand by itself, because like 10 of them, well, not 10 of them, 8 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, are just flavors of Baneblade, right? Like, you're not going to have that many flavors of Baneblade in your army. And so, yeah, so I'm excited about the fact that there's a little less mental load, not just because I have to review the books and go through it all, but because if I look at a Cadian squad, it's a Cadian squad now. It's not just a Cadian squad flavored with X or Y doctrine thing, or a Cadian squad that counts as a Catachan squad or counts as this or that. A Catachan squad's a Catachan squad, and that's where we're at. So, we got a new Lord Solar, which is pretty cool. Lord Solar Leontis. I want to keep saying Leonidas. This is the Imperium. But yeah, it's Lord Solar Leontis. Not Leonidas. Legally distinct Leonidas. And then Ursula Creed. So all the Cadians are dead now. They're all gone. Yarrick's dead. Everyone's dead. All the old characters are dead, except for all the ones in Finecast, because they're still here, like Sergeant Hawker. And the Regimental Preacher miniature, which is from like 1998. It's like 25 years old. That preacher could buy a beer in any state of the union. And of course, always in Canada, because you need to be like 18. So yeah, so new minis obviously to go with new characters, and a lot of like they've killed people off. So the story part of the book is basically talking about the Cicatrix, the fall of Cadia, everybody who died when they crashed the Blackstone Fortress on the planet and blew everything up. There's some references to some recent like releases too, like the Navy Breachers and stuff are in here, which is kind of cool. Although their rules aren't, I don't think. No, they're not. They're separate still. And of course, new stuff like the Attilan Rough Riders are back. And all the background stuff for that. And a horse that's a robot. That's also a horse that thinks it's a robot. That is a robot, because you gotta have that. So it all kicks off with the Fall of Cadia, which I think is nice, because then you're not trying to talk about a bunch of things that don't exist in the lore anymore. Death World regiments like the Catachans, Warzone Catachan, the Talarn. If they did miniatures of that, oh my god, look at how cool that is. New Talarn. Oh, that was badass. The Attilans. The Krieg, because you have to have the Krieg because they're a meme. The Gaunt's Ghosts. Colonel Commissar Ibram Gaunt and his lads. And then, where is it? I'm trying to find that. There it is. And then the Gloria Yarrick, they sound the bell for him. He's dead. He's gone. There's his Baal Eye. Or is he? They'll bring him back again. But no, he's dead. He's been reported dead, and the Imperium's told the bell, which means he's gone. So cool color section. Ash, just tell us about the rules. There they are. The rules. Army rules, data sheets, and then Crusade stuff too. So Comp Patrol is pretty cool for this box. It's basically what comes in the Army box. So I'm hoping they do that from now on. They just take the combat patrol they're going to release in the future, stick the codex in with it, give you the cool cards and stuff for all of your stratagems, and then there you go. We've got things that will all be available separately eventually. I think maybe that's what the Votan one's going to be when we see that combat patrol. I'm hoping that's what it is, but it's a handy way to do this release. So exact same stuff as comes in the CADIA Stands box will be the combat patrol later on, it looks like. So the command squad, the cool armored sentinel, the 2 artillery pieces, and the 2 Cadian squads, which are all brand new minis. And some terrain. I don't know if that exists, if that like Frontier style terrain is something, but that little accessory thing on the ground there is cool, and I'm hoping that comes out at some point. Because I like those. I like whatever those terrain pieces are. They're neato. All right, so detachment abilities. Astra Militarums gain chain of command. Regimental units in the Astra Militarum detachment gain born soldiers. If you wish, this can be replaced with Regimental doctrine of your own choosing, so you get the mix and matches stuff here if you want. If every unit in a Militarum detachment is Militarum Tempestus, Officio Prefectus, and or Auxilia keywords, Tempestus Scions units in the detachment have the troops battlefield role instead of elites. So basically you can still take a all Tempestus Scion army if you want, just basically out of their detachment abilities. But you just can't mix anything else in the detachments. You can do like a patrol of them and have them go alongside like a primary detachment. And then chain of command. You cannot select an Astra Militarum character model that is not an officer to be your warlord if you have any officers. So the officers just take charge. You can include a maximum of 1 commandant in each detachment in your army. If your army includes a commandant, you cannot select any other officer to be your warlord, unless it's the Lord Sor Leontis, because he just takes over. If your army includes him, he's got to be your warlord. So screw you. Regimental doctrine, born soldiers. Models this doctrine of the born soldiers keyword. Officers with the doctrine have born soldiers aura, while friendly platoon units within 6 of this model. Models not platoon unit can use this officer's leadership instead of their own, and each time this doctrine makes a ranged attack and a modified hit roll of 6 auto wounds. So that's pretty cool. That's a lot of auto wounding. Note, if an attack automatically wounds a target as a result of this doctrine, then for the purposes of any other rules that are considered triggered on a wound roll, that attack is considered to be an unmodified wound roll of 6. So the guardsmen get it. So yeah, so you can auto wound on 6s to hit if you're guards. So who cares if you've got strength 3 Laus guns? You just get to born soldiers if you're regimental. So who's regimental in here? Let's have a look. Everybody. So platoon command squads, Cadian command squads, they've all got the regimental keyword. Straken, not the psyker, because he didn't go to army school. They're Tanith instead of regimental, so the Gonskos don't get it. Oh, the Master Board, all the attache stuff. I like that these are attaches now, not individual units. So you just attach them like an Ogren bodyguard. Nork Dead Dog, he's in here still. Master of Ordnance, Officer of the Fleet, and the Astropath. Infantry squads are regimental. Cadian shock troops, regimental. Death Corps Free regimental. It's weird that the Gaunt's Ghosts aren't. Maybe I just missed it because they had like a weird line of stuff. Maybe I'm just dumb. We can assume. Nope. Imperium, Astra Militarum, Tanith for Gaunt's Ghosts. That's okay because it's all United characters anyway, so they don't need it. They got cool enough stuff. Shock troops, regimental. Death Corps Krieg, regimental. Catching Jungle Fighters, Sly Marbo, regimental. Are the tanks regimental? Not. Is the regimental engine seer one? No, even though it's in his name. Commissars? Nope, because they're Order Perfectus. Ogryns? Nope. Bulgrins? Nope. Ratlings? Nope. If you have a cool gun, unless you're a Tilden Rough Rider, then you get it. Scout Sentinels? Yup. Armored Sentinels? Yup. Hellhounds? Yup. No, they don't roll to hit usually for most of their guns, though. The Rogel Dorn? Yup. So you're just auto-wounding on your Lehman Russes. Why not? Wait. Regimental units in the Astra gain the Born Soldiers Judgment Doctrine. Yep. Yeah. Models of this doctrine have the Born Soldiers keyword. Each model of this doctrine makes a range attack. Modified rolls of 6 automatically wound. Yeah, it's just everybody. And of course, you can use your leadership within 6 of your command squads. Cool. So you can trade other ones for this. So regimental doctrines represent the varied traditions, tactics, equipment, and experience of the Astra Militarum regiments. To reflect this, instead of using born soldiers, you can create your own. To do so, select 2 doctrines listed here, and they become your regimental units, and they have access to those. So If like the core guard one is wound on 6s to hit, or auto wound on 6s to hit, and let your leadership bubble happen, pick 2 of these, mix and match, make your own. It's relatively simple, and I don't mind it because it's just across your whole army, and it lets you use all the weird, special, cool army rules that you've come up with. So like mechanized infantry, you get mechanized, and units with this doctrine can disembark from a transport model after that model's made a normal move. But if they do so, they can't move again. So cool, you can drop off after you move. Parade drill, if you remain stationary. In the next shooting phase, you gain heavy 2 instead of rapid fire, so you get to shoot twice, double tap at long range if you don't move. So like your Mordians. Armored superiority. Sentinel models count as 3 models for holding objectives, and Titanic models this doctrine count as 10 models. All their vehicles count as 5. So if you want to take an armored company, basically. Blitz division. When placing this unit in strategic reserve, have their power rating for how many command points you have to spend. And in the second battle round, each time you set up a vehicle unit, excluding Sentinels, it's considered to be the 3rd battle round for the purpose of determining if they can be set up, so it makes your roll easier to come in. Sorry, where you can come in easier, actually, sorry. And then expert bombardiers. Each time artillery makes a range attack, if it's within 12 of a boxcaster or Sentinel unit, add 1 to its hit roll. So if the target is within 12, because you can fire for effects, basically you're calling stuff in. Heirloom weapons, so your, what they call it, Vestroians, add 4 to the range characteristic of all ranged weapons, excluding relics. Recon operators, at the start of the first battle round, before the first turn begins, infantry, cavalry, and sentinel units can move 6, and not within 9 of enemy units or deployment zones. Trophy hunters, each time a model of this doctrine makes an attack against a monster vehicle unit, add 1 to the strength characteristic. But if you take this one, you don't get a second one, because it's too good. Grim Demeanor, ignore modifiers to your combat attrition tests. Brutal Strength. Each time an infantry with this doctrine fights, infant made a charge move, was charged, or heroically intervened, add 1 strength of the models in that unit. And no penalty to hit rolls for firing heavy weapons in the turn that they moved. You can see some of these get mixed and matched later on. For like that's the CADIA one, Brutal Strength, basically. Veteran Guerrillas for the GMG Regiment. Units of this doctrine gain the Veteran Guerrillas keyword. Each time an infantry or sentinel model with this doctrine makes an attack that targets a unit within 12, no cover, because we're good at shooting to cover. Elite Sharpshooters. Each time a unit with this doctrine is selected to shoot, you can reroll the hit roll when they're resolving their attacks. So just, sure, we're just good at shooting. So just reroll hit rolls. That one's going to be real popular. And you can still take a second one. That's amazing. Oh, sorry, 1 hit roll, 1 resolving the its attacks. I mean, that's really good because it's unit by unit, so you just reroll the heavy weapon. Cult of Sacrifice. Each time a model in this doctrine makes an attack, that model's unit was below starting strength, you get +1 to the attack's hit roll. That one's good too. Take a casualty, get +1 to hit. So you go Elite Sharpshooters, Cult of Sacrifice, and then you get real good at shooting. Industrial Efficiency, so like ignore the first AP. So if it's AP 1, sorry, it just goes to AP 0. And then Swift as the Wind, add 1 to the move of infantry and artillery models, this doctrine, and 2 to all other models, and add 1 to charge rolls for like Attilan style stuff. And that's it. Build your own guard regiment, pick 2 of these. So much simpler. I'll be honest, like it still like gives you a bunch of options, but you can just go, these are my 2 doctrines, and your opponent goes, okay, and that's it. There's no like, if X then Y, if Y then Z. And a lot of it's like building your army too, so you just be like, my tank company is better at holding objectives, and also they are sharpshooters. Stratagems. So these are our stratagems. I think there's only 2 pages, or two like bifolds of it. Yeah. Oh, so nice. Not that many. No special ones for special regiments. Thank God. Armored Fist. It's 1 CP. Use this strat in your shooting phase when an Astra Militarum core unit in your army is selected to shoot. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack against a close eligible target, if they disembark from a transport, reroll the wound roll. That's pretty great. Even though your exploding your 6s will make you auto wound. Vengeance for CADIA. It's just for Cadian units. Or a platoon unit from an army that's within 6 of a friendly Cadian officer unit. If they're selected to shoot or fight until the end of the phase, I'd +1 to wound against chaos units. So basically you're always wounding on 4s-ish with your las guns, unless it's toughness 6 or higher. So like against the non-vehicle units, you're just always wounding on 4s. CADIA Stands on a 1 CP. Use stratagem in any phase when a Cadian infantry unit from your army is selected to target of an attack. It's transhuman. So 1 to 3 always fails. Again, Cadian only though, so... Ingrained Precision, use this one at Born Soldiers, so you only get this one if you didn't make up your own regiment. Is selected to shoot until the end of the phase. Unmodified rolls of 5+ auto wound, and you're considered 6s. So for 1 CP, 5+s. Basically become like baby Votan. Overlapping Fields of Fire for 2. This is platoon or squadron models from your army. You can reroll wounds of 1, unmodified wounds of 6, improve the AP penetration by 1. So you can use it on squadrons, but it's not the whole squadron. So if you take 3 Lehman Russes, it's just one of them. Volley fire, and squadron is the keyword for all the vehicles, basically. Volley fire for 2 CPs. Select the infantry squad, they can shoot again if they didn't move. So, cool. It's the end of your shooting phase, though, after everybody's shot. Experienced die when a Khazarkan or elite sharpshooters core unit. So, Khazarkan, or if your army is based on that, keep regimental doctrine. Each time a model, until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, improve the AP by 1. So you can take like a Tempest Assign unit, make them all elite sharpshooters, and also Call to Sacrifice. So they'll get +1 to hit. You lose a guy. The Immovable Indoctrination uses it in any phase when a Tempestus infantry unit from your army is within range of an objective marker, as selected as the target of an attack. Can't reroll the wound roll, and worsen the AP by 1. Relentless for 1 CP or 2 CPs. Use this stratagem in your command phase. Select 1 Militarum vehicle from your army. Until the start of the next command phase, the model is considered to be at full wounds. If it's Titanic, 2 CP, otherwise 1. So, cool. Bring your Rogel Dorn battle tank back online, or make your Baneblade real good. Field promotion. Basically, you have to kill the Warlord twice. You pick another officer to become the Warlord after the Warlord dies for 1 CP. And any mission objectives and secondaries are untriggered. A Vengeful Salute for 1 or 2. Using your opponent's shooting phase or fight phase. When a vehicle model from your army is destroyed but did not explode, don't remove them from play. It can shoot after their model's unit finishes making attacks. Its BS is always 5+ and can only make attacks with the turret weapons it's equipped with. If the model has the battle tank or armored superiority keyword, it's 1, otherwise it costs 2. So your Baneblade basically can't like go off basically at the end of it all. Battlefield Surgery for 1 CP, use it for your medics. If they're not in engagement range, they get D3 destroyed models back with their full wounds remaining. But you can't bring back officers. That's funny. Crush Them, it's the old like Adamantium Treads one. Change the weapon skill to 4+. If it's armored, it gets 3+. And then unmodified wound rolls of 6 takes a mortal wound on top of any normal damage after a super heavy or battle tank unit charges. And then Fire My Position for 1 or 2. Used for a Voxcaster model in your army that's destroyed by a melee attack. Do not remove that model from the play. After all the models in the attacking unit have finished making their attacks, roll a d6 for every unit within 3 of the Voxcaster model. On a 4+, the unit being rolled for suffers D3 mortal wounds. The Voxcaster model is then removed. If you're Cult of Sacrifice, it costs 1, otherwise it costs 2. So the Cult of Sacrifice is actually really cool because it lets you use that one and once you're dead, like if there's like 4 units in combat with you on a 4+ take D3 mortal wounds. I love that one. It's very characterful, and I like that some of these are tied to the build your own regiment stuff. Officer Cadre for 1. When you're mustering army, if your warlord has the Astra Militarum keyword, select a character from your army and determine 1 warlord trait from that model. So you can do it once at a basic game, and then twice if it's a strike force, 3 times if it's a big game. Imperial Commander's Armory and Battlefield Bequest. So it's basically when you're mustering your army, you can give a sergeant a specific relic. You can give them the Legacy of Calidius, Claw of the Desert Tigers, the Barbican's Key, the Emperor's Fury, the Relic of Lost Cadia. And then Imperial Commander's Armory, extra relics for 1. Orbital Interference for 2, strategic ploy. For the officer of the fleet models in your army, you can select one of your opponent's strategic reserves or reinforcement units. They can't arrive during the selected phase for any reason, even though the rule would let them do it. Only use it once. So use this sort of reinforcement stuff of your opponent's movement phase. Just go nope for 2 CPs and they don't show up. Maverick Maneuvers for 1 for your Sentinels. After shooting is resolved, you can make a normal move. So after they get to shoot, then they can make a normal move of 6 inches and can't shoot again this phase. So basically you could like pop out, pop back for 1 CP. Thunderous Charge for Ogryns and Rough Riders. When they finish a charge move, select an enemy in engagement range and roll a d6 for every Ogryn or its own Rough Rider model that's in engagement range. For each roll that equals or exceeds the toughness characteristic, they take a mortal wound. So if your toughness is 6 or higher, you can't use this, but basically Anything that's 6 or less, you could just do exploding mortal wounds with the Rough Riders for 1 CP. That's a cool one. It's model by model though, so it's 5 dice. Be real good into like high initiative, crazy damagey one wound things. Like it'd be really good at fighting like what are they called? Incubi or Howling Banshees. So it's got 1 wound, but like just murders you up first. Artillery strike requested is the Master of Ordnance or Expert Bombardier's Officer. You basically pick a point in the battlefield. Starting next command phase, roll a d6 for every unit within 6, and then add 1 of the units is within 3 of the middle, and subtract 1 if they're a character. 2 to 5 d3 mortal wounds, 6 plus d6 mortal wounds. So if your army has a bubble and you don't want them on that objective, you just go, hey, that objective, it's getting artillery shelled. And then you tow it with a vehicle and make everybody else run away. Acceptable losses for 1 CP. Use stratagem in your shooting phase. Select an Astra Militarum unit from your army that's not within engagement range of the enemy. Then select 1 enemy unit. Until the end of the phase, models in the Astra Militarum unit can target that unit even if it's within engagement range of other friendly platoon or grim demeanor units. But each time a model makes a attack that targets them, if you roll a 1, you take a mortal wound. Sorry, resolve the attack against that 1 friendly unit selected by you, not a mortal wound. Vicious traps for 1 CP. Use it in your opponent's charge phase when an enemy unit finishes a charge move in engagement range of 1 or more Militarum units from your army that was wholly within an area terrain feature. Then roll a d6 and apply the following. If you're Catachan or Veteran Guerrillas, you get +1. Yeah, Veteran Guerrillas. +1 if you have a Melt-a-Mine keyword, and +1 if your army includes Sly Barbo and he's anywhere on the battlefield. Because he's evil Home Alone, like in the last Rambo movie, where it's just ultra-violent, psychotic Home Alone. So for 1 CP on a 2 to 5, take d3 mortal wounds. On a 6, take 2 d3 mortal wounds. So if your army is all Veteran Guerrillas and Marbo's anywhere on the table, it's on a 4+, you take 2 d3 mortal wounds if you charge 1 of their units. That's bananas. If you're Melt-a-Mine, I don't know what units have that. I didn't look that closely, but you could be on a 3+, take 2 d3 mortal wounds. It's pretty great. Home Alone, Kevin scattered a lot of micro machines around and then hit all the doorknobs are on fire. Fading Strike for 1 CP. Use when your Rough Riders selected to fall back. You can still shoot and declare charge. And then Flak Barrage. Select a hider unit from your army that's not within engagement range. Then you can choose it for the shooting phase at the end of the reinforcement step, but it has to target aircraft that were set up this turn. A Shield of Flesh. Use strategy in the opponent's shooting phase when an infantry unit from your army is selected as the target of an attack. Till the end of the phase, each time an enemy model targets that unit with an attack, if it's within 3 of an Ogryn keyword, excluding bodyguard units, they are -1 to hit because the Ogryns just get in front. Mount up for 2 CPs using the shooting phase after mechanized or Militarum Tempestus infantry from your army was shot. If every model is within 3 of a friendly transport, they can embark within it. This cannot allow them to exceed the transport's capacity. That's so cool. So basically you could get out and then get back in after you've shot. So you go take the, what was the one? The mechanized infantry, because you're a mechanized keyword, and then excluding aircraft, you could drive, get out, and then yeah, and they can't charge. I think they can do it. So use this doctrine to disembark from a transport model after it hasn't made a more normal move, but if they do so, they can't be selected to move again, though they still count as having moved. And neither they nor the transport can declare a charge. But you can get back in. So you can just mount back up. So like Torox stormtroopers back in the Torox for 2 CPs. I mean, it's CP heavy, but it's just neat that they can do it. Overcharged Laz. So this is the one for the Kazargan or the Tempestus units. When they shoot until the end of the phase, each time model this attacks with a hotshot weapon. Unmodified wound rolls of 6, which remember, you're born soldiers, so the 6s do it. Inflict a mortal wound in addition to normal damage, and a max of 6 mortal wounds. So there's your super mortal wound gun. Smoke, -1 hit for 1 CP for smoke units. Ablative plating, your -1 damage to a minimum of 1. If it's super heavy or Rogaldorn battle tank, it costs 3, otherwise it costs 2. So -1 damage until the end of the shooting phase, if your battle tank are armored. And then Melt-a-Mine, use a stratagem in the fighting phase. When a Melt-a-Mine unit from your army is selected to fight, select 1 vehicle or monster, and roll a d6, 2 to 5, d3 plus 1 mortal wounds, 6, 2 d3 mortal wounds. All right, so your upgrading stuff for this is all tanks. So you can basically upgrade battle tank units and then super heavy units. There's 2 different costs. You can't steal Commissar though. which I thought was weird. You can't have a Baneblade Commissar. Only Yarrick gets one. The Armor of Contempt is his alone. So yeah, the costs are pretty nominal. It's usually doubled for the super heavy units. It's like if it's 15, it's 30. And they start at 15, go to 20, and then 25 at the high end. But they're only 35 points once they get to the high end. Like they only double down at the bottom. Named characters can't be tank aces, obviously, because they already have cool skills. So Vaunted Praetorian for super heavy or Rogaldone only. You gain the officer keyword, so you get to issue the mechanized officer stuff. But then you can, if you issue an order, and you can do one. If this model is super heavy, you can select for the order to be an Astra Militarum Titanic unit instead of just a mechanized one. So the Baneblade can order other Baneblades. A Meticulous Calibrator. Each time they make a range attack, no cover. Mechanical Pack Rat. Each time an attack is made against this model, unmodified wound rolls of 1 to 3 fail. So just permanent transhuman for 30 points on your Baneblade. Sure, why not? Veteran Commander. When you add this model to your army, select a doctrine from the Regimental doctrines that is no other unit in your army has, and then you get it. That one's pretty cool. Knight of Piety, get a 5+ invul, and when you take mortal wounds, 5+ shrug. Master of Camouflage. If you're outside of 12, you get light cover. If this model is Titanic, that has to be outside of 18. And then Steel Commissar, officer only. This model knows the Perfectus orders in addition to the mechanized orders. Now, when this model issues a Perfectus order, the unit you select for the order can be infantry officer or abhuman unit, but in such cases, the regimental tactics apply. Ability does not apply. And all other issuing orders rules apply. So basically, you can issue orders to dudes even though you're in a tank. Normally, the officers that are in tanks can only issue them tanks. All right, the Psychana Disciplines. So this is we're just regular human psychic powers. Terrifying Visions. Cast on 6, manifests on an enemy with an 18. Until starting your next command phase, your -2 leadership and your opponent cannot be selected to use the insane bravery stratagem. Or use any rule that will let them reroll the morale check. In addition, roll 2d6. If the leadership result is equal or greater than the unit's leadership, after applying the modifiers, any action they're performing fails. That's actually probably the most important part. You can just turn off actions with your psychers. And until the start of your next psychic phase, they can't do them. Gaze the Emperor. It's Warp Charge 6. Select an enemy unit within 12 invisible. Draw a straight line between you and them, or their hull and the psycher's base. Roll a d6 for every enemy unit, and 1d6 for each other unit that this line passes over. On a 1 to 5, the unit being rolled for suffers a mortal wound. And at 6, they take d3 mortal wounds. So basically the target and any unit that gets passed over. It's basically the Salamander psychic power from Space Marines. Psychic Bearer, get to give a 5+ invul to an Astra Militarum unit. They took away the +1 save. Night Shroud, Warp Charge 6, range 12. Actually, I think all of these are Warp Charge 6. Literally all of them. Or everything in this whole list is Warp Charge 6. Manifest select a friendly Astra Militarum unit within 12. You can't select Titanic units unless the result was an 11+. And you give them Transhuman. So unmodified, but against shooting. Unmodified hit rolls of 1 to 3 always fail because you're, invisible. Mind Shackles is range 18 on a 6. Until starting your next psychic phase, select an enemy unit, subtract 2 from their move and 2 from their advance and charge rolls. And then Psychic Maelstrom on a 6. If manifested, roll a number of d6 equal to the psychic test result. For every 5+, the closest enemy unit within 18 and visible takes a mortal wound to a maximum of 6. So that one's cool. It's just a big witchfire. I think in those ones, you're only going to get like 1 or 2 of these. I like Terrifying Visions just for turning off actions. And then Psychic Maelstrom's pretty great. All right, Warlord traits. And then Tempestus Scions get their own. So there's 6 for the Warlords. Each time a Warlord makes an attack, unmodified hit roll of 6 scores 2 additional hits and add 1 to the wound roll. A Master Tactician. At the start of the first battle round, you can select up to 3 friendly Militarum units, excluding Titanic units, remove them from the battlefield, and set them up anywhere you want in the battlefield that's wholly within your deployment zones. Just redeploy 3 guys. It's Grand Illusion for the Deceiver. Grand Strategist, you get a 5+ refund on your command points. Superior Tactical Training. When you select this Warlord trait, select one type of orders that this Warlord knows. The Warlord knows those orders in addition to any other ones. You get to know, you could basically have foot guys issue mechanized ones, or Perfectus guys issue mechanized ones, however you want to do it. Old Grudges, when a friendly platoon or battle tank squadron within 6 of the Warlord, each time a model in that unit makes an attack against an enemy unit, get +1 to wound. And then Lead by Example. This Warlord can issue orders to its own unit, even though you can normally not select officer units to be issued orders. So you get to do what you want to do. Militarum Tempestus Warlord traits Drill Commander. It's an aura. 6-inch aura. Friendly Militarum Tempestus infantry units, instead of following the normal rules for rapid-fire weapons, models in that unit double the number of attacks when shooting with such weapons. So rapid-fire 1 would make 2 attacks at any range. Precision Targeting Aura. So basically, this one's also 6-inch aura. Each time a model of that unit makes a ranged attack, the target does not receive benefits of cover. And then Uncompromising, they're all auras actually, 6-inch auras. Each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, the target's unit within half range get better AP. So better AP, no cover, and then you just double your shots at any range as opposed to using the rapid fire rules. So they wouldn't turn into 4, it's just you always double. And then Relics. Look at how few Relics there are. There's only 3 pages total. They had to put a color sheet in there, so few. I love it. All right, so the Emperor's Benediction, it replaces a bullet pistol. It's 4 -1/2 damage, and then you can't use Lookout, sir. And each time an attack is made, unmodified wound roll of 6 does a mortal wound on top of normal damage. A Tactical Auto Reliquary of Tiberius. They've all got weird names. Officers model only in your command phase of barricade and issue additional order. Death Mask of Olanius. I like that Olanius the Pyrus is in here now. He's got a 4+ invul. The Barbican's Key, infantry only. Once per battle in your movement phase, you can use your relic. If you do so, you bamf, go anywhere you want. That's more than enough for the enemy, and you can reroll charge rolls for the bearer's unit. And then Kurov's Aquila. Once per battle, after your opponent uses a stratagem excluding a command reroll, you can use this relic. If it does, until the end of the battle, the command point cost your opponent must pay is increased by 1. So that one's really handy on transhuman. Gatekeeper, it's a tank commander with a Leave and Rust battle cannon only. You get a D3+6 battle cannon shots at strength 9, -3, flat 3 damage, and it becomes blast and turret weapon. So Gatekeeper's a pretty good battle cannon. The Relic of Lost Cadia, once per battle in any command phase, you gain this relic. If you do so, you gain the following aura. While friendly Cadian infantry is within 6 of the model, improve the weapon skill and bliss skill of them by 1, and add 1 to the attack and leadership characteristic of models in that unit. So basically, you just like unveil. You're like, we're real good Cadians. The Order of the Bastion Stellaris, infantry model only. Each time attack is made against the bearer's unit, unmodified wound roll 1 to 3 always fails. So basically, you just become transhuman forever. The Legacy of Caladius. It's a chainsword, becomes +1 -2/2 damage, and make 3 additional attacks. So you get like a 6 attack super chainsword. It's a good marine killer. Damage 2. The Psi Sigils of Sanction, Psychers only, no additional power. Can manifest additional power, so she's become a better telepath. The Armor of Graf Tashenko, +1 wound and 2+ save. That one's pretty great. He's the famous of Vostroya for your indomitable ability against the Tau. Laurels of Command, once per battle at the start of any phase in your opponent's turn, you can issue 1 command order. You know from the following list as if it was your command phase. Fix bandits, take cover at all costs, show them steel, show them contempt, remain vigilant, or shock and awe. Claws of the Desert Tigers, it's a power sword or power saber, +2 -3/2 damage. And then each time you fight, make 2 additional attacks, like a super power sword. The Clarion Proclamatus, so you're a Master of Vox. Each time an officer in the bearer's unit issues an order, when selecting the target of the order, you can ignore the range restrictions for all of it. You can just shout at anybody. And the Finial of Naradesh I, command squad with a regimental standard. You get an aura. Friendly Astra Militarum core within 6 of this model. Each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, you can ignore any or all modifiers to the hit roll. And if the attack is allocated to an enemy model, that enemy model cannot use any rules that ignore the wounds it loses. The Null Coat for your Tempestor Primer Commissar. In your opponent's psychic phase, you can attempt to manifest, or deny, sorry, and add 1 to your deny test. So basically you can just like, you can think real hard at it with your Commissar and make it go away. Emperor's Fury is a plasma pistol. It's 8 -3/2 damage, pistol 3, and then a refractor field generator for your Tempestus Prime. While the friendly Militarum Tempestus infantry is within 6, gets a 5+ invul. All right, we did it. We got through it. Like, that wasn't so bad. It's all to the point. Like, I love that that's it. That's all the over the battlefield overhanging stuff for the most part, except for the orders. But the orders are turn by turn. And you're only going to know one sheet of them typically if you're like theming your army. It's not so bad. All right, we're in the data sheets, but before we get there, we have to look at our orders. So depending upon who you are, if you're mechanized, you know these ones. If you're an officer, if you're regimental, you know these ones. If you're prefectus, you know these ones. And they're just like, they're shouts, right? So they're shouts appropriate to your type. So first rank fire, second rank fire, you go heavy through with your las guns, take aim, improve your AP by 1, and you get +1 a hit. Fixed bayonets, get +1 attacks hit roll, and improve your AP by 1 in melee. Take cover. Until start your next command phase, models in the unit receive light cover. If they had light cover, they get heavy, dense cover. Move. +2 move until your next command phase, sorry, until the end of your next movement phase. And until the end of your next movement phase, do not make advanced rolls, just auto go 6. And then suppression fire. Models this unit can only make attacks against the enemy unit that phase. You select one unit basically. You can't split your fire. And if this unit scores 5 or more hits, then until the end of your next turn, that enemy unit's suppressed. And if they're suppressed, they're -1 to hit. The Prefectus ones, 4 for the Emperor. And you can issue these to anybody. Until the next shooting phase, when the unit selected to shoot, if it made a normal move or advanced, it counts as being stationary. Duty and Honor, until your next command phase, this unit can perform actions in a turn in which it fell back or advanced, and it can shoot without any actions failing. Get back in the fight, you can shoot and charge even if you fell back, and at all costs, into your next command phase, the unit gains OBSEC. If this unit already has OBSEC, you're double the number of models. Show them Seal, show them Contempt. Into your next command phase, you're +1 leadership, and Mortal Wound Shrug of 5+. And then remain vigilant until the start of your next command phase. Enemy units that are set up on the battlefield as reinforcements can't be set up within 12 of them. And if an enemy unit declares a charge against that unit and it is not within engagement range of any enemy models, it can hold steady and it gets a 5+ Overwatch. Mechanized orders, pound them to dust. Oh, and sorry, I think you actually have to give these to Prefectus units and you have to give these to Regimental units. That's right, you can issue orders to the right one. Yeah, from the voice command rules. Yeah. In your command phase, officers can issue orders. There's 3 types of orders. You must select one of the orders it knows. You can't be selected by it more than once per turn. When you are selected target for the order, if you're regimental or prefectus, it has to be a platoon unit. And then if you're mechanized, it's a squadron unit. That's right. And you only have 1 order at a time. Disembarking officers. In your movement phase, an officer that is in your army disembarks from the transport, it can issue an order after it disembarks. That's cool. And then regimental tactics. Each time an officer from your army issues a regimental or prefectus order to a unit with this ability, you can select 1 or more friendly platoon units within 6 of that unit, and those platoon units are also affected. So if you if you issue an order to a command squad, it trickles down to the other infantry squads within 6. And each time an officer from your army uses a mechanized order to a unit with this ability, you can select 1 or more friendly squadron units within 6 of that order, and those squadrons are also affected. So a platoon of Leman Russes, you do the middle one, and it bounces out. And then turret weapons, you have that keyword. If the model's in engagement range of the enemy, it can still target and resolve attacks against enemy units that are not within engagement range. So you basically can just keep firing your turret. And note that when making such attacks, you must subtract 1 from hit rolls for being in engagement range. And then each time you make an attack with that weapon, add 1 to its hit roll. So that's really cool, is that all the big turret guns are 1 better ballistic skill and can fire even if you're in combat. So back to the mechanized ones, pound them to dust until the end of your next shooting phase. Each time you make an attack for the purposes of blast weapons, you double the number of models in the target unit. So if there's only 5 guys in the unit, they count as 10, which is a big deal. Full throttle until the end of your next movement phase, you're +2 move. Until the end of your next shooting phase, when this unit's selected to shoot, if it advanced during the previous movement phase, it counts as stationary. Gunner's kill on sight. You'll see some of these are duplicated from the Scion ones. Until your next shooting phase, each model in this unit makes a ranged attack, reroll hit rolls of 1. Blitz them, +1 to charge rolls, and if this unit makes a charge move and you have a dozer blade, you're 4+ doing D3 mortal wounds. Shock and Raw, you get OBSEC, and then pinning fire. So you have 3 buses with OBSEC. That all count as 5 models each. Pinning fire, a model in this unit can only make attacks against that enemy unit that phase. In your next shooting phase, the first time you're selected to shoot, you can select 1 enemy infantry unit that's visible to you. You only shoot them, and if the unit scores 5 or more hits, you become suppressed, so you become pinned. And if you're pinned, you're -2 your move characteristic for your models in that unit. I would have that make orders fail, actions fail too. I'm surprised it doesn't. So like, Cool combos, right? Like, remember, they bubble out to other squadron models. So not even the same types of tanks. So you could have like a Lehman Russ, I think the Rogal Dorn counts as squadron, like the big guy. Basilisks. As long as there's 3 tanks next to each other, they all bubble out. So you want to keep your guys together. So you just want to hit the middle one with the order, and the range of it is 12 of the officer if it's a vehicle, and 6 if it's a other officer unit. And so, like, you could just have a line of tanks or a bubble of tanks and have them all get affected. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the new one's also because the Baneblade is not squadron; it's armored instead. It might not be the Rogal Dorn. No, it's squadron. Yeah, it's small enough it counts as squadron. All right, Sorolientis. So this is like, I mean, I don't like linchpin units. I don't like the fact there's kind of a unit in this army that you kind of have to take, right? Like he's sort of required, but he's getting there. 2+2+, strength 6, toughness 4, 8 wounds, 6 attacks, leadership 10, and a 3+ save. He's got voice of command and regimental tactics, 4+ invulnerable save, and you have the damage against him. And then the collegiate Astralex. After your opponents reveal their secondary objectives or agendas, if your army contains this model, you can choose to change one of your secondary objectives or agendas. If you do so, or if your battle does not use selectable ones, at the start of your command phase, you get an additional command point. So if you don't use his ability, you get an extra command point. If you do and just change up, then you can do that instead. You get to reroll hit rolls of 1 and reroll wounds rolls of 1 if you're within 6 of them in your Militarum core. And then Lord Commander Solar. In your command phase, you can pick a friendly core, character, or battle tank unit within 6, and they just reroll the hit roll. And if you're core, you can also reroll the wound roll. And then commanding authority, he can issue 3 orders. And he knows all of the orders. He knows Regimental, Perfectus, and Mechanized. He's the boss of everybody. In addition to the normal units that can be selected for mechanized orders, you can issue mechanized orders to friendly vehicle officer and super heavy units. He doesn't care who he shouts at. He shouts at everybody all the time. And he is Regimental, so his 6s to hit explode. His gun is pistol 2, strength 8, -3/3 damage, and his conquest is his sword. It's already strength 6 and -3/2 damage. And he rides a robo horse. I like that it's not a real horse. I like that it's a robo horse. I don't know. I don't love this miniature. I don't love his head. I wish his head was slightly different. I don't know. He fits the old school art. There's just something with the execution of it that I'm not super big fan of. But the stat line, he's like baby 160 point, 180 point Gilliman. Ursula, she's moved 6, 3+3+, strength toughness 3, 5 wounds, 5 attacks, leadership 9. She's got her dad's guns, pistol 4, strength 5, -3/2 damage, and a power sword. Lord Castellan's Fury, each time this model issues an order to a unit until the starting next command phase, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, you get +1 strength. It only affects the original target, not anybody it bamfs onto. That's not great. 5+ invul, tactical genius. While this model is in the battlefield, you can use the command reroll twice per turn instead of once. And then senior officer, she gets reroll once to hit. And she counts as Cadian. I can get a Cadian Castellan. So basically a Cadian colonel. And he's just a dude, which I think is awesome. Look at that model, look at how cool it is. You can issue orders of voice of command, 5+ invul. He just has a last pistol and a chain sword, but you can give him a bolt gun, power fist, power sword, plasma pistol. And then tank commander, he's a Russ. So he's a Russ with a 4+ to hit, but remember you get a 3+ to hit for your main gun. And then all of the different upgrades for him too that we talked about earlier. And you can give him a Demolisher, an Eradicator, Nova Cannon, an Execution Plasma Cannon. The Russell is just weapon swaps now. One profile for everything. 2+ save. Armored tracks. If you buy him armored tracks, then when each time an attack with a damage characteristic of 1 is allocated to him, he gets +1 save. I wonder if this is going to replace the Armor of Contempt. 2+ armor save and then armored tracks, so the damage 1 stuff gets a plus to the save. I don't know. We'll find out. And then platoon command squad. So you get 4 guys with a platoon commander. 2 veteran guardsmen. This unit can replace with a heavy weapons team model. And a platoon commander is equipped with las pistol and frag grenades. Every veteran guardsman is equipped with las pistol, las gun, or frag grenades. They're the same, basically. 2 attacks each in the veterans. And then any number of guardsmen can have a chainsword for the las gun. And you can have, any number of guardsmen can have either a flamer, grenade launcher, heavy flamer, melta gun, plasma gun, or sniper rifle. And a model can only take 1 of the sniper rifles. And then Refractor Field, the commander gets a 5+ invul. Cadian Command Squad, same thing but Cadian, so they get the Cadian special rule, which is the, where is it? Cadian keywords. They can get meta packs for a 5+ wound shrug and the meta keyword. Regimental standard. Corps can reroll wound rolls of 1. They're basically lieutenants. Master Vox. Issue orders at 24-inch range. Stratagems here still. 2+, 3+. Strength 6, toughness 4. The 5 wounds and 6 attacks. Cold Steel and Courage. Each time this model issues an order to a unit until the starting its command phase, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, if it targets a vehicle, unmodified 6 is auto wound. And note this ability only affects the original target. 4+ invul from his Bionics. Been there, seen it, killed it. Each time he makes a melee attack against a monster, you can reroll the wound roll. And then Senior Officer. While friendly core within 6 of them, you can reroll the hit rolls of 1. Primera Psyker, basically the same. 4 wounds, 3 attacks. 4 staff, strength 6, -1, D3 damage. And can manifest 2 and deny 1. So you can manifest 3, deny 1 if you give them the upgrade, which is pretty rad. And then the Ghosts. New plastic. I love that they're in here. But, you know, there's not a lot of them left, man. Like, they should get to relax. But you get everybody from Colm Corbeck, Elam Ron, Hale Lane Larkin, Try Again Bragg, who's dead, so it doesn't fit this timeline at all, and Owen McCall, the Master. McCall should just be able to kill anything in the game. I don't know. I don't know how you represent these guys appropriately. He's got a 5+ invulnerable save as long as he's in the unit. Try Again Bragg. Does not suffer the penalties for hit rolls for moving and shooting. And if no hits were scored, he could just reroll. Because, you know, he's going to try again. You don't get cover against Larkin. Colm Corbeck. When this unit is selected for an Astra Militarum core stratagem, that stratagem costs 1 fewer. And then Elam Ron, as long as he's... basically, it's kind of like an AOS unit. As long as these guys are alive, the whole unit gets these, like, upgrades. And when you fight in the fight phase, select an enemy unit with engagement, and they can't fight until anybody else goes, because Ron cheats them somehow. And then they just pass morale as long as Gaunt's alive. Camo Cloaks are not eligible. You just can't be shot if you're more than 18 away from them. And each time an attack is made against the unit, you're -1 to hit. Each time a ranged attack is allocated to a model in this unit while it's receiving the benefit of cover, add 1 to any armor saves. And then Covert Stealth Team, during deployment, put them anywhere in the battlefield more than 9 from the enemy. And then Voice of Command Regimental Tactics. They're just fun. Straight Silver is -1 AP. Gaunt's Chainsword gets D3 extra attacks at damage 2. The Long Last is damage 3, 5 -2, and no lookout, sir. Plus unmodified wound roll of 6 is D3 mortal wounds on top. Corbeck's Hot Shot Las Carbines, Assault 3, Strength 3 -2, 1 damage, and then just Bull Pistols and auto cannons otherwise. I don't know. I love that they're in here, and I love that they're characterful. It makes me happy. They're a cool unit. All right, so the regimental attaches and bodyguards. These are guys like the Master of the Fleet, Officer of the Fleet, Master of Ordnance, the Astropath, big old Nork Dead Dog, and the Ogryn bodyguard that you can stick into a command squad. So that has a command squad keyword. And they become an attaché model. So for every bodyguard, you have to have a single officer, and every officer can only have 1 bodyguard, and only 1 of each type of attaché can be added to each command squad. You go up by 1 to your starting strength, and your point value gets increased by the person attached to it as well, because you're functionally part of the unit. These are like unit upgrades that you can just take, not independent characters that like join a unit. Also, your power rating goes up by 2 for each attaché if you're playing Crusade, and 3 for each bodyguard model, but you can't start with them. You have to sequester and requisition these guys when you're playing a Crusade game. And they can't be your warlords because they're like functionaries, right? So the 3 guard ones, or human-y ones, are the Master of Ordnance, the Officer of the Fleet, and the Astropath. They are movement 6, 4+, 4+. They're just humans. 1 wound, 1 attack, leadership 6, save 5+. They're just guardsmen, really. And the Master of Ordnance has the Artillery Commander ability. In your command phase, select 1 enemy unit within 30 invisible. And until the start of your next command phase, each time a friendly Militarum artillery model makes a ranged attack, reroll hit rolls of 1. So I like that way better than like a once per game orbital bombardment, or like off-table artillery. I think that's really cool that you have a an ability to basically like call in airstrikes off your command squad, and I think he's gonna be really popular. The Officer of the Fleet is an Aeronautica commander. In your command phase, select 1 enemy unit within 30 invisible to the model until the start of next command phase. Each time a friendly Aeronautica Imperialis model makes a ranged attack against them, reroll hit rolls of 1. So there's a bunch of Forge World that would have that, but also the Valkyries and Vultures in this list, obviously, all have that keyword. So Aeronautica Imperialis. Oh, that's right, you can't make a Vulture out of the Valkyrie kit. I was like, wait a second. Yeah, it's the only flyer. It's the only flyer that's in this list, but you get the flyers from the Forge World line, obviously be able to do it as well. And then Astropaths, they have Divination as a psych power. It's Warp Charge 7, the only 7 in the army so far. In your psych phase, one Astropath model from your can attempt this psychic action. If you do, you get a command point. And they're also a psyker. They can manifest 1 psych power and deny 1 psych power. They know Smite and 1 Psychana Discipline 1. Each time an unit's Astropath model attempts to deny the witch, manifest a psych power or perform a psych action, measure the distance from the Astropath model. So even though they're in the unit, you measure from him. And then you get your bodyguard models. They have Wall of Muscle. Each time an attack is allocated to this model, it's -1 damage, which I think is awesome. Makes these guys way more useful. Point Blank Barrage. This model can make attacks with Tripper Gun even while it's in engagement range of enemy units, but it can only make them against the units engaged with. And then Big Target. Each time an attack targets this model's unit, use this model's toughness characteristic when making wound rolls. So you effectively make your command squad toughness 5, -1 damage. They have 6 wounds for an Ogren bodyguard, 5 attacks, leadership 8, and a 5+ save. They can have the Brute Shield and Slab Shield, Grenadier Gauntlet, and Bulgrin Maul. So the Slab Shield gives you a 2+ save. So hey, now my command squad has a 2+ save and a whatchamacallit, a 6 wounds and toughness 5, -1 damage. So yeah, I mean, command squads are pretty squishy. This makes them way less squishy. It means that you can do that little deployment where you've got your command squad in the middle, you issue them an order, and you bump out the orders around them, and not be quite so easy to kill. I mean, they're still, functionally, there's lots of things that can still kill you, but it's a pretty big, like, toughness upgrade for that unit. Each time an attack is allocated to the model in this model's unit, it must be allocated to this model. Each time a model in this model's unit suffers a mortal wound, this model must suffer that mortal wound. So basically, this guy has to soak all the damage before someone else dies. And obviously, if you take certain war gear items too, like if you were to take the Death Mask of Elanius, infantry model only, models in the bearers unit have a 4+ invulnerable save. So now your command squad is 4+ invul, 2+ save, -1 damage, toughness 5, 6 wounds. Until that's dead, you are a significantly more durable target for like a to stick in the game and issue orders and stuff like that. And here it is. So the infantry squad. So we're into the troop traces now. Look at how pretty these new models are. I like the ball caps or the sports cap style helmets. The new Canadian helmet looks really cool. They're a lot more like the OG Imperial Guard, Imperial Army helmets. And they're still, if you check out the unboxing of the actual like box set, you can see me show off the arm swaps. They're not as they're not as functionally modular as they were with the old ones, but they're also not so Lego Man, which means that they can still do lots of arm swaps. And they're easily like sort of like customized and bashed, but they have way more varied poses than standing basically like shooting from the hip. All right, so 3 power. I mean, what do you say about guardsmen? They can have a heavy weapon team, and they're still 10-man squads. You replace the 2 guys with the heavy weapon model, 4+4+, movement 6, 1 wound, 1 attack. Obviously, the Born Soldiers thing is pretty great, right? Being able to shoot and just get auto wounds on 6s makes the lasgun a lot better. Heavy bolters is what you can come with base. If you're a heavy weapon team, then you upgrade it. You can have a sniper rifle, you can have a Voxcaster. Yeah, regimental tactics, they're pretty great. Shock troops, they're the same, plus shock troops. Each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack with a lasgun and las pistol. Unmodified 6s do an additional hit. So they get 2, they're not Born Soldiers, so obviously that's not the oh no, actually you are, I think. Yeah, because you're Canadian shock troops and they are regimental. So they would actually get Born Soldiers. They get Born Soldiers and 2 auto wounds on 6 to hit. Oh, unless this is like AOS, we can only trigger 1 thing on a roll to hit. I can't remember if that's the case. Someone in the comments tell me if that's the case. Your bossman gets a drum-fed autogun, rapid fire 2, strength 3p1, dash and damage 1. And then chain swords. Your sergeant's las pistol can be replaced with a bolt pistol, and the las pistol and chain sword can be done with the drum-fed autogun. So no power swords and crap on your dudes anymore, but no big deal. Or no officer war gear, rather. Death Corps of Krieg. So you get your Death Corps troopers, 9 guys, and a watchmaster. Same core stats as a guardsman. They get Death Corps. Each time attacks made against this unit, unmodified wound roll of 1 or 2 always fails. So you can never wound them on 2s. They have baby transhuman on the whole unit because they're the Death Corps. And you can have your medic and Voxcaster. So once per turn, you just ignore a hit, change it to damage 0, and your plasma gun and the las guns are in there. You automatically come with a plasma gun, actually. 1 Deathcore Trooper is equipped with a plasma and frag grenades. And then 2 Deathcore Troopers can have a flamer, grenade launcher, melta gun, or sniper rifle. So no heavy weapons in these squads, it looks like. But obviously the kit comes with, they're trench troopers, right? They're supposed to be fighting up close and personal. And then jungle fighters. I like that they had to use the command squad jungle fighter for the picture though, because they're not showing the old ones. I really hope we get this treatment for jungle fighters, like maybe as a kill team box, something like that. It'd be cool to see a kill team box that was in the jungle. Here we go, let's use my prognostication ability. Kill team Catachan, or Warzone Catachan, Killzone Catachan, or Killzone Death's Worlds, or something like that. It's coming. It's gonna be all Ewok villages and gene stealers and stuff like that. It would be amazing. It'd be like Predator. Come on, Games Workshop. Fulfill my dream of a kill team box set for Predator. I have no special knowledge, but if it's not coming, I'll be upset. They get the Jungle Fighter's ability. Each time they make a melee attack, unmodified 6 does an additional hit. And then it can have for every 5 models in the unit, you can have a flamer. So bonus flamers, because they still come in the sprue. Slime Arbo, I like his hidden ambush. You can just, during deployment, you put him aside and he shows up anywhere on the table. His Ripper Pistols, Pistol 3, 5 minus 2, 2 damage with no lookout, sir. And wound rolls of 6 do mortal wounds, so Born Soldiers makes him amazing. And then in Venom Blade, it's 2+2 strength, so strength 6. He's non-vehicle targets basically are damage 2 because of the Venom. And he's a loner, can never be your warlord, and like fighting a shadow. Once we're about at the end of the fight phase, take him off the battlefield, and if you do so, just put him back in with hidden ambush. He disappears. Kazurkin, sweet new Kazurkin. 3+ ballistic skill base, which is cool. 2 attacks base. Otherwise, they're guardsmen with better leadership. 4+ saves. Hotshot lasguns are minus 2 AP lasguns with rapid fire 1. Marksman rifles heavy 1. 4 minus 2, 3 damage, and does mortal wounds on 6s to wound. They have the Meltamine keyword and the Voxcaster keyword, and obviously all the gear that comes in that new frame can be upgraded. They have the Warrior Elite. When you add this unit to your army, you can select 1 doctrine from page 6 to 61 that no other unit has, and they have the doctrine. I think that's awesome. So basically, because they're a special forces team, they're all slightly different. You have like Kazurkin Squad 6, Kazurkin Squad 7, and they all get a different baby doctrine to add to them. So you can make them like the special gunfighters, a bunch of different rules you could add to them. Or even Armored Fist. Actually, Armored might be cool for them because they can jump out and then use that thing to jump back in. The Preacher. Oh my god, the oldest miniature in this box. Look at that thing. It's so good. 4+4+, 4 wounds, leadership 8. And you can have a Servo Stubber, Power Maul. The Servo Stubber is cool because it means you could use the one from Blackstone Fortress if you have them. You can use the Preacher from that. Warrior Zealot. If you charge, you get to reroll the hit rolls. 4+ invul. Righteous Rhetoric. You can select an Astra Militarum core or character within 6, and on a 3+, select one of the following. Add 1 to charge rolls, and if you get into combat, reroll the hit roll. And until the end of the next command phase, have a 6+ invul and cannot be affected by malediction psychic powers. That's actually pretty handy for your command squad. I'm surprised he's not an add-on. I guess you'd need to, the Righteous Rhetoric wouldn't really work that way. I'm actually kind of surprised he's not an adjutant. But he's not in the military chain of command, I guess. That makes sense. And good old Harker with his heavy stubber payback. Assault 3, 5 - 2, 2 damage. Can't be your warlord. Stone Tooth, he's going to have a 5+ wound shrug. And Harkin's Hellraisers, before deployment, select a Catachan Jungle Fighter unit from your army. Until the end of the battle, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, you can reroll a hit roll of 1. So now because I only used to use this guy to let his Baneblade reroll shots, because it has to be a Jungle Fighters unit and they're not like a regimental keyword anymore, you can only have the infantry squads do it. And you know regimental orders, but you can only issue to Catachan Jungle Fighters. Engine Seer, he can battlefield repair someone within 3 at the end of the movement phase still for D3 wounds. Each model can only be repaired once per turn. 5+ invul, Omniscience Blessing. In your command phase, select a friendly Militarum vehicle within 3 and get a 5+ invul. So just for 2 power, I mean it's like 40 points. Giving an invul and getting some healing. If you're gonna take a Baneblade, just stick one of these guys behind him. He's just gonna keep rubbing his shoulders basically, being like, "You're doing great, buddy." Militarum Servitors, you can give him a squad if you want. Same old mind lock thing, unless you're within 6 of a friendly Engine Seer. Sorry, when you are, you upgrade your weapon skill to 4+. That new Commissar model, I like that his hat is an actual scale to his head. That's a great miniature. That's a really cool miniature. 3+3+, he's still a really good fighter. But both pistol and chainsaw, you can have power sword and plasma pistols. So no power fist Commissars anymore, man. They're gone. Refractor, Political Overwatch. For each Commandant and Command Squad, the unit in a detachment, 1 Commissar model can take up a detachment, taking up a battlefield role slot. And then Summary Execution. Once per turn, when a Militarum core unit within 6 fails a morale check, if it does so, at the end of the phase, each time a combat attrition test is taken for the unit, it's automatically passed. So, like, you don't have to kill a guy anymore, because when you fail the morale check, one guy dies, but then you pass the rest of the roll, because it's just him executing that guy now. This model knows prefect disorders. You can issue them to friendly infantry officers and abhuman units. But when doing so, the regimental tactics ability doesn't apply. That's interesting, because you can issue them to anybody because he's a commander, or he's a commissar. Ogryns. Wall of muscle, point blank range, so you can still shoot when you're engaged. -1 damage when you attack them. That's actually really handy. 3 wounds, summons 5. 4 attacks, ripper guns, and frag bombs. And then I think you've also got Bullgrins, yep. For your slab shields for 2+ saves, or your brood shields for 4+ invols. Ratlings, sniper rifles are still heavy 1. No lookoutsers and 6s to wound. Naturally stealthy, they're -1 to hit when you shoot them. And they get +1 to cover to their cover saves. Shoot sharp and scarper. Once per turn, this unit has a shot, it can make a normal move. If it does so after resolving Overwatch, your opponent can select a new target for the charge. So basically, if you charge them and you decide to Overwatch, they can just move backwards afterwards, which is cool. And then find the best spot during deployment. They can set up ready in the battlefield, not within the deployment zones and stuff. We've already seen the Rough Riders in Warhammer Community. They're pretty cool in melee. You know, you got unit of 5, 3s to hit in melee, 2 wounds each because they're riding horses, 2 attacks each. And they're hunting lances. You can frag tip it for 2 additional hits every time you hit. So up to 6 hits at strength 4, -1 damage. And then Melt-A-Tips at +2, -4, 3 damage. Whoa, strength 6. I mean, still winning big things on 5s, but 3 damage is no joke at -4. And then Power Sabers for the Sergeant, extra attack at strength 5, -3, 2 damage. It's pretty great. And then Horse Masters, ignore all your modifiers to your move, advance, and charge rolls. Inside this with like no custodies using the Tanglefoots. And then Scything Momentum in the fight phase, if the unit made a charge move, it gets +2 strength. So strength 8 all of a sudden for your Melt-A-Tips. Only strength 6 when you're not charging. And then you're winning on 4s against things. That's pretty good. Now, I feel like these are so easily converted into Death Riders of Krieg. All you have to do is head swap them. Like, the horses already look like Krieg horses. Just take the heads off and stick the Krieg heads on, and you have instant Death Riders of Krieg, and I think that's amazing. That's what I would do. I would do a Krieg army with the plastic Krieg infantry, and then make these Death Riders, and then just vehicles. You know what I mean? Make my command squads and vehicles of them too. You could so easily do it. And then use like Kazarkin as my special forces guys. Or even, you could actually just use the Tempest of Science too. Scout Sentinels and Armored Sentinels are that new Sentinel kit. They're really cool. Strength up to 6, 7 wounds. I mean, still just standard weapons, like Militarum multi-lasers are heavy 4, 6 -1 damage, plasma cannon, Sentinel chainsaw, so strength 6 -2, 2 damage, and get an extra attack. Daring Recon, deploy anywhere in the battlefield, not within none of the enemy or the enemy deployment zone. And then the Armored Cockpit gives you each time a range attack with a damage characteristic of 1 is allocated, you get +1 armor save. So that's pretty cool. If you shoot light stuff at them, they have a 2+ save and a 3+ save base from the Armored Cockpit. Same weapon options for the most part, but no Daring Recon. Hellhounds, Chem Cannon, so it's all the variants actually. Chem Cannon and an Inferno Cannon, because you can turn it into the the Salty Dog or whatever it's called, the other Hellhound. 3+ save, 6+, 4+, strength 6, toughness 7, 11 wounds, 3 attacks. Chem Cannon's heavy D3 +3 with a 12-inch range. Auto hits, always wins on 2s. And then heavy flamer against non-vehicles or Titanic units, sorry. Inferno Cannon's heavy 2d6, 18-inch range, 6 -2, 1 damage, and it auto hits. And the turret weapons, remember, so they can use these when they're engaged, which is really nice. And they get the Dozer Blade and Armored Tracks for the -1 damage. Everybody gets Armored Tracks now, basically. Not -1 damage, sorry, +1 save if you're shot with damage 1. I think you just always take the Armored Tracks to get 2+ saves in these guys. Rogaldorn's been on Community, but obviously it's the big new hotness. I rather like the Rogaldorn, I'll be honest. I know a lot, it's kind of controversial. Some people don't like it, but I think the profile of it's really cool. It kind of reminds me, I don't know, the profile kind of reminds me of like a cross between like a Sheridan and a a Sheridan and a Sherman tank. Like a really big one. I want to see a good picture of it. Is there not a good picture of it in here? Is it one in here? Nope, that's all Russes, which are starting to show their age, to be honest. Show me the Sheridan. Oh, that's the last time we're going to see that. Chris Peach's Guard Army, because he's not with Workshop anymore. That's funny, there's like Chris Peach Army in here, and he's going to have to do his own thing now. Where are you at? Come on. Hey, sport, there it is. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of got that look to it. I like that it's more rounded. Like, I like the fact that it's not all hard edges like the Russ is. The Russ being hard edges kind of bothered me always, but I like that it's kind of rounded. Yeah, it kind of has that like, what's the other one? Not the Crusader. That's a World War II tank. Yeah, it kind of has like a Sheridan, Sherman sort of look to it. I like that. I forgot there's mustaches on these guys. That's so great. Heavy weapon teams, new models obviously, so it's heavy bolters, autocannons, last cannons, missile launchers, and mortars. The field ordnance battery, they're basically the same as they were. Regimental tactics, they're just a 2-in model, units of 3. And then the heavy field ordnance battery, it's just 1, but you can give it a bombast field gun or a heavy las cannon. Heavy las cannon's heavy 2, 10 minus 4, D3 plus 3, and the bombast is heavy D6 blast. And you can target anybody, even if you're not visible. So 7 minus 2, 2 damage. That's a cool marine killer. Malleus rocket launchers, D6 plus 6. Blast, 6 minus 1, 1 damage. And then just the las gun on the gunner. I don't know, 6 wounds, toughness 4, 4 plus save. It's just a tougher heavy weapon team. And they're still pretty easy to kill. And then Russes, which makes all the variants on one profile. Thank God for that. Like, that's what I said when I mean like data slate condensing. Like, we didn't need a data slate for every variant of the Russ. You know what I mean? We just needed one data slate. I know it's been like that for a while, but I much prefer just make these things options than give them all individual data slates. 2 plus save. Armor of Contempt. Again, I don't know if it's replaced by, like maybe when this comes out, they'll do a new thing that takes them off the Armor of Contempt list and just replace it with Armored Tracks, because Armored Tracks seems to be doing the same thing. Yeah, squadron rules are the same. Basilisks, 240-inch range, still shoots 20 feet. The range you'll never need in a game of 40k, but I like that it's in there. D6 plus 3, strength 10 minus 3, 2 damage, blast, and can shoot anything you want. No minimum anymore though, which I think is funny. I think you used to have a minimum of like 10, 12 inches or something like that, because you couldn't arc it up and down that fast. Basically, you just dropped the gun. Hydras. The quad autocannon, heavy 8, 7 minus 2, 2 damage, plus 1 hit against aircraft, and make 2 hit rolls instead of 1. Each time this attack is made against an aircraft unit, make 2 hit rolls instead of 1 and add 1 to both hit rolls. Holy crap. So it's heavy 16 against aircraft, and you're plus 1 to hit? Holy crap. That's a legit anti-air gun now. The Manticore with the Storm Eagle rockets, 120-inch range, D6 plus 3, 9 minus 2, 3 damage, blast, shoot things out of line of sight, but you can only shoot it 4 times per game. And then the Wyvern with its quad Storm Shard mortars, mortar. I remember when these were the thing, because they had shred. Blast, 5 minus 1, 1 damage, heavy 4d6. It's a lot of bang bang. And the Death Strike missile launcher, 1 shot. Where is it? Death Strike missile. Align target. They make it an action now. That's smart. In your command phase, any number of Death Strike models from your army that have not launched their missiles, see right, can perform this action. It's complete at the end of your turn. If completed, you must do one of the following. Either place a Death Strike target marker anywhere in the battlefield for the model that completed this action, or 2, if a Death Strike target marker is already in the battlefield and they complete this action, move the marker anywhere else in the battlefield. So explode. And then launch missile. In your shooting phase, when this model is selected to shoot, if it's not in engagement range of the enemy, the Death Strike target marker is on the battlefield and has not launched its missile, you can choose to resolve its effects. Choose a warhead and then fire. Oh, I have to select a warhead when I make my army, though. God Spear warhead, roll a d6 for each unit within 3 of the center of the model. And on a 2 to 3, they take 8 mortal wounds. On a 4 to 5, they take 12 mortal wounds. And on a 6, that unit suffers 16 mortal wounds. Then remove this model's Death Strike target marker from the battle. Holy crap. It's a nuclear bomb. Plasma barrage. Roll a d6 for each unit within d3 plus 6 of the center. -1 for our character. 2 to 3, it's D3 plus 1. 4 to 5, it's 2D3. And on a 6, it takes D3 plus 3 mortal wounds. Then take it away. And then Vortex Warhead. At the end of each of your shooting phases, if this model's death strike target marker is on the battlefield, roll D6 for every unit within D3 plus 3. 2 to 5, D3. 4 to 5, D3 plus 1. And on a 6, it's 2D3. Then roll a D6. On a 1 to 3, remove this marker's death strike marker from the battlefield. On a 4 to 6, do not remove the marker from the battlefield, but then this marker cannot be moved using the aligned target action for the rest of the battle because it stays there. So the Vortex Warhead just stays on the table forever. And you can keep firing this thing now? Yeah, I guess. But like you're only firing it a couple times because obviously it's having to realign and stuff like that. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, so I guess it's not once per game anymore. Because you just have to realign target. And that's it. I don't see anywhere where it says once per game. It might still be once per game, I'm just missing it. But yeah, it uses its other weapons. Crazy. Chimeras. What about command vehicle? In your command phase, if one or more officer models are embarked in the transport, one of these officer models can shoot an order. When doing so, measure from the transport. So you can use your order still inside the transport. It's kind of cool. Thoraxes, not mobile command vehicles, but come with armored tracks. And Valkyries, supersonic, -1 to hit, hard to hit. Sorry, supersonic, yeah, hard to hit for -1 to hit. Hoverjet, you lose supersonic, hard to hit, but you can move 20. Explode, grab, shoot, insertion. In your movement phase, when this transport model makes a normal move, one or more enemy or units embarked in can disembark at any point along the move. If they do so, if this unit must be set up within 9 of can't be set up within 9 of enemy models. And if they're Militarum Pestis, then they must be set up 6 away from enemy models. If this transport moves 20 more or more during the phase, roll D6 for everybody unless they're Militarum Pestis. On a 1, they're destroyed. Models in this unit count as having moved, made a normal move and can't move any further. Yeah, kind of the same as before. Aegis defense line, it's just in here now, so you don't have to take a, I guess it's just a fortification. Has no equipment, and it's, oh, there's a new model for it. Weird. Weird. Oh, and I can even see the rapid prototyping lines on it. Neat. Weird, there's a new Aegis defense line miniature. That's cool. After this model set up, it's treated as area terrain feature with the following traits: defense line, light cover, heavy cover, defensible. And each time a range attack is allocated to a model when receiving the benefit of cover, you get worsen the AP by 1 to a minimum of 0. No equipment, no stat line, can't destroy it, you just hide behind it. Huh. And your tanks can get cover from it. Crazy. Good old Baneblade. Now this is where we get like a bunch of different things. Toughness 9, strength 9, 30 wounds, 2+ save. Always have armored tracks. The main wing cannon's 3d6, 9-3, 3 damage blast turret weapon. The coaxial autocannon's also a turret weapon. The Bane Hammer Tremor Cannon, 2d6 plus 3, 10-3, 3 damage blast turret weapon. It's got the firing deck. In your shooting phase, one unit embarked within the transport can take 25 infantry. Can be selected to shoot. So you could put, oh, could you put the heavy weapon teams in it? That'd be cool. Could you put the, they're not infantry though, I bet they're artillery, so you can't actually do it. Because you used to be able to put heavy weapon teams in it, I know, but I bet that the other ones are artillery, so you probably can't. It would be cool though. Artillery, yeah. Because they're infantry, so you can still put them in it, but you can't put these guys in. So you can still have a heavy bolters fire out of it or whatever. Bane Sword, it's got a quick cannon, 14-4, 4 damage, blast turret weapon, heavy 6 plus D6, oh my god, that's still a big gun. The Doom Hammer with its magma cannon, D6 plus 3, 10-5, D6 plus 2, turret weapon blast. Each time an attack is made within half range, its damage is D6 plus 4 instead, because it's just like a giant melt-a-gun basically. Also has a firing deck. And still carries 25. Hellhammer. It's just covered in guns. Hellhammer cannon. 3d6 plus 6, 7-2, 2 damage. Blast turret weapon. No light cover, because it's the anti-cover one. Shadow sword, still got the volcano cannon. Heavy, D3 plus 3, strength 18. So everything toughness 9 or less gets wounded on 2s. 5 12 damage blast turret weapon. It just nukes a knight. 2 wounds get through and a knight just explodes. Holy crap. That's legit. And the Stormlord with its Vulcan Mega Bolter and the firing deck still. Heavy 20, 6 -2/2 damage turret weapon. It's pretty great. Storm Sword, Siege Cannon, D6 +6, Strength 12 -4, D3 +3, Blast turret weapon. I don't know, man. The Shadow Sword's pretty great. And then the Tempestus stuff has its own section, which is cool. So the Tempestus Command Squad, Scion and Primes, 4+ saves. Basic, like, same kind of stat lines. Can they have your command rods? The Baron knows Perfectus orders in addition to regimental orders. The Baron can issue Perfectus orders to Scions units, and if so, it can do it within 6. Master Vox. The Bearer gains the Voxcaster keyword. Each time an officer in the Bearer's unit issues an order, you can increase the range of that order to 24 inches, but only if you're such another Voxcaster as the target. Aerial Drop. You can drop them in. Prime has a 5+ invul, and then Stormtroopers, each time you make an attack, an unmodified 6 gets a additional hit. And they're not regiments. They don't get born soldiers. And then Scions. I still like these models. I mean, they're just different. Like, I still really like the new ones, but like the Beret, they're just like old school Stormtroopy. I think they're really cool. They have like a spaceman look to them still. One-shot lasgun, same as the Kazargan ones. Rapid fire 1, can take a Voxcaster. Stormtroopers and aerial drop still. The Torox Prime, which is the gunned up one. With Militarum restrictions, if your army is Battleforged, then for each attachment in your army, you cannot include more Torox Prime models in your infantry than you have Tempestus Scion units. Sticky missile launchers. And that's it. I like that they put the Crusade rules at the back. I'll be honest, this makes more sense. Like, the layout of this book is different. It goes right into army rules. I don't know if you guys caught that when I started doing the review, but the Crusade rules are right here. And I like the officer traits and things like having an eye for talent. You can have an additional unit marked for greatness. Like, there's some cool Crusade stuff in here that's very military Tempestus and military Tempestus Scion. And then, yeah, tours of duty. So you have to complete a tour of duty. The number of battles you need to fight is 2d3 + 2. The number of victories will be d3 + 3. So you complete your agenda, it's like your long-term agenda, basically, by trying to do like a tour of duty. That's a really cool, like, thing. And then you get your campaign medals, requisitions, cool relics. A name generator. Oh, I don't have dice handy? I don't, damn it. I could be, if I'm Cadian, I could be Pavlo Nimes. If I'm Captain, I'd be Gunnarsson Crow. Valhalla names, tank names like Crimson Legate or Tormenting Talon. And some great pictures of like the Crusade stuff. And then reference. Point values, I know you guys care about it. I'm not going to bother with it, so just have a gander. And I'll just hold it steady and try not to have any reflections so you guys can see it. Because the point values are going to change tomorrow probably anyway, so there you go. This is the thing. And that's it. There we go. First look at the Astra Militarum Codex from CADIA Stands. And it's cool cover. I'm excited about this, not so much because I want to play a guard army. I think that someone else will do a much better fun job of painting guard and playing guard. But because I like the format of this book, I think that there's been a lot of work done to kind of think, well, how much is too much information in a book? And what can we streamline out to try and make the game digestible? This guard army feels digestible. And some people are going to say like, oh no, there's less you can do with it now. I think there's still tons you can do with it, but it doesn't. I won't approach a guard army and have no idea what I'm looking at. And your unit selections will hopefully have a lot more to do with making your army unique than like a bunch of like overhanging wombo combo-y regimental tricks and tactics. I played tons against Owen's guard army in 8th and 9th, like early 9th, and I feel like I played a different army every single time because he was trying to like finesse the best out of the stratagems, requisitions, and different like regimental combos. And like even taking multiple detachments of like a Catachan Baneblade, hanging out with Cadian shock troops, like you can't do that anymore. It's just Astra Militarum, either you're using born soldiers or you're using like a different regiment you've made up, and then insert units and go. I feel like there's a sweet spot for rules design in this methodology. And I'm not saying this one's perfect or it's there. but I see the effort being made, and that really, I think, is encouraging. So there you go, a first look at the book, and hopefully this will be at general release relatively soon, probably for around Christmas. And yeah, the new models you can check out too in my unboxing and looking at the frames. So big thanks for watching. Thanks on Ash. Apple Gaming. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that video. There are tons of other games already recorded for you to watch. Click over to my channel page if you haven't already, and have a look through the dozens of playlists full of videos. I guarantee you'll discover a game you haven't seen played before. I put out new videos 7 days a week, and every day is themed to a different genre as I continue to explore the wider world of gaming. Of course, none of that's possible without you, the viewer, so click a like and subscribe if you'd like to stay on top of what's happening here daily. My 2 kids and I are massively grateful to be able to have the flexibility of this job so I can always maximize my time with them. If you want to support me continuing to put out this content, it's only possible because of my amazing backers on Patreon who support the studio, equipment, and model cost, as well as being how I make the bulk of my living. You can also help out by buying a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, a measuring gauge or widget from Death Ray Designs, or buying one of my games and supplements like Last Days, Game of Wolves, and Blaster. As a way of showing my appreciation, patrons get early access to new games and supplements that I write throughout the course of the year. Huge thanks for watching, it really does help out, and happy gaming.